Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the penultimate round of the inaugural season of Simsport Racing Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4. We're here at the fantastic WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for the penultimate round out of 5 weeks. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and I've got a new voice in the commentary box alongside me. Welcome along, Anthony Jordan. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you, Alex. Last minute surprise out of nowhere. Hello, here I am.
Fresh from his antics with the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships, which I understand you're doing this weekend as well. So really, really good to see that. But yeah, Laguna Seca, a fantastic circuit in California with the infamous corner known simply as the Corkscrew. And we've got quite a plethora of GT4 machinery that will compete over the next 45 minutes. It is a complete reverse grid. There is no qualifying session, and we will have no mandatory pit stops. And the benefit of this, Anthony, is that it is flat out full throttle all the way through.
Nice, that's what I like. It's fast, furious racing, which is what the fans want to see.
And that's what we bring to them here at Simsport Racing. Obviously, I hope that everyone is keeping well, keeping safe. We're over multiple different platforms. A big thank you to Simply Race and Mike Yale for once again bringing the fantastic coverage to life in both sound and vision. But before we do get into brass tacks and get things underway, there's a couple of things to talk about. We need to have a look at the Season 1 results from Kyle Army. Gavin Utley took the win, taking a maximum of 50 points. Chris Crossman and Sem Spenkelink in the BMW M4 and the Alpine A110 rounded out the top 3. Then it was Aaron Walker, Michael Haffenden, Richard Emery, Stephen Haley, Cody Pride, Dave Hedges and Mark Neutlings rounding out the top 10. And obviously you can see that there were some DNFs as to the penalties and positions, but Stephen Haley took the fastest lap of the race and thereby made it not 28 points but 29 points. Let's have a quick look at the championship standings coming into the penultimate round here at Laguna Seca. So Aaron Walker leads the way quite convincingly, sorry, I can't get my words right out this evening. 137 points, and it is Cody Pride a further 29 behind, and then a further 4 adrift is the returning Chris Crossman. Dave Hedges, Regan Mitchell, Stephen Haley, Richard Emery, Gavin Utley, and Sem Spenkelink with Tim Fulbrook rounding out the top 10. And also, that really, you can just see that the top 22 all have scored points so far out of the previous 3 rounds. So let's have a look at the starting order for race 4 here at Laguna Seca, because again, we have a voice that you normally hear on Simsport Racing. Steve proudly jumps behind the wheel of the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 MR Club Sport and will start 25th. And as you can see, Nikola Dobrevsky in the Mercedes-AMG GT4 will have Tomasz Stanek alongside in the Aston Martin. Tim Fulbrook and Gianluca De Luca will be row 2. Mark Renenbury and Reese Wiggin, row 3. Kieran Vidago, Angus Martin, John Aegis and Joel Diaz ran at the top 10. Aaron Martin Pilkington, Regan Mitchell complete row 6 ahead of Mark Neutlings and Dave Hedges. Cody Pride and Stephen Haley, that's row 8 ahead of Richard Emery, Michael Haffenden, Aaron Walker and Sem Spenkelink, who complete the top 20. Chris Crossman, Gavin Utley, Johan Pedersen, Adam Misalovic and Stephen Pradley ran out the 25 strong. So let's have a look at just the track itself. It's fearsome, Anthony. Laguna Seca is one of those ones that is steeped in motorsport tradition. You know, it's seen IMSA, it's seen MotoGP, IndyCar, and a whole lot more besides. And just sort of from your perspective, what are you looking forward to the most here at Laguna Seca this evening?
Oh, lap 1 at the Corkscrew, that's what I'm looking forward to. It's usually a carnage point on the track. My favourite part of that track is, of course, the Corkscrew. My favourite moment at the Corkscrew, definitely have to take it back to MotoGP with the Rossi Stoner overtake move where he dives down the inside, almost goes off track onto the bumps and ruts of the apex curb there, and, you know, a fantastic overtake. And I'm sure we're going to see the same today.
With Ducati, and Valentino Rossi was with Yamaha at the particular moment in time. Obviously, there was a title decided here last year with Indy Lights, seeing Andretti Autosport's Halaverescu finish ahead of Rinus VeeKay, the young Dutchman, who has just qualified in the top 9 for this year's Indianapolis 500, which takes place in just a few days' time. But also, we can't just forget about the GT4 class, because we still have Season 3 getting underway with GT3. We've just had some fantastic action. And we are getting the formation lap underway. When we've completed the interviews, I'll fill you in with a couple of bit more details. But the rain is down here in California. Normally in wine country, you know what this means. All hell is about to break loose here at Laguna Seca as Dabrowski leads from Fulbrook, DeLuca, Roddenberry, Wiggin, Vidago, Martin Diaz, Martin Pilkington. That's the top 10. But this adds another bit of spice to the mix here, Anthony, because effectively all of these cars are rear-wheel drive, and it is not going to be easy. Who's going to be... I mean, I'm not going to predict a winner in any way, shape or form, because you don't know what carambolage we're going to have. Because you said, lap 1 at the corkscrew. I think it's going to be turn 1 going into the Andretti hairpin that we could see a bit of a melee, but who knows? What are your thoughts coming into this race?
Well, I've got one prediction, and that prediction is that there's going to be a yellow flag at some point in this race. And don't know when, but it's going to be soon. It's, the rain at Laguna Seca in a rear-wheel drive car. It's, do you know what? Carnage. I just can foresee carnage in the future. But these drivers, I'm sure, are pretty skilled. Obviously, it's my first time actually seeing these guys race, so I'm unsure. But I'm sure they're pretty well skilled in this in these cars. So I'm expecting good things still to come.
So on the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the number 52 of Simsport Racing's very own Steve Proudley. Joining the back end of the field is Nikola Dobrevsky in the number 16 Mercedes AMG GT4, which is so bright, especially with that very sort of light cyan. You could probably look at it from Google Maps and it might even glow in the dark as they head through the corkscrew on the formation lap. Air temperature, 17 degrees Celsius, 22 degrees Celsius track temperature. And I think it's more than just damp. It is very, very wet here at Laguna Seca, as they're now heading towards the final couple of corners. So Dobrevsky will have Fulbrook alongside for close company as some of them get into formation ahead of a 45-minute sprint race. No mandatory pit stops required. It is full throttle, pedal to the metal from the minute we go green very, very shortly as the leaders now start to control the dual file rolling start formation. Very, very reminiscent of what happens in karting, which both myself and Anthony do know about very, very well as they come round the final corner. Let's see who gets the power down. Fulbrook nearly jumps the start a little bit there as they will wait until the lights go green here in California. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to get things well and truly underway. We've gone green. It's a great start from Tim Fulbrook. At the front of the field, Aaron Walker looking to make up some positions early as Dobrevsky takes the inside line down to the Andretti hairpin. And a little bit further down the order, looks like Utley's trying to go through the inside, around the outside there of Aaron Walker, through the Andretti hairpin, as Tim Fulbrook keeps it planted ahead of Gianluca De Luca for second position. Oh, there's been a multi-car incident. Aaron Martin Pilkington in the wall, Angus Martin in the wall. I think even Steve Proudley's had become a bit of a cropper there as a result of it.
Yeah, that's a disaster at the back of the field. I mean, I did call it as well. I called the yellow flag coming out so early on in this race in Laguna Seca. That turn 1 where it tightens on you, the spray coming up in the drivers' faces. I am not surprised the yellow came out in that first sector here. But at the front, away, Fulbeck now leads.
Yeah, Fulbrook leading the way. Dobrevsky now down into third behind Gianluca De Luca, who looks to have a different paint scheme. Oh, Michael Haffen, who goes up off the track up towards the Rahal Straight, and that allows, looks like Kieran Vidago and Mark Roddenberry in the 4 Porsche and the 75 Ginetta. As Kieran Vidago goes steaming in like a bull in a china shop, going through the corkscrew, trying to go for 4th position, and ends up dropping outside of the top 8. And they are all side by side a little bit further. But the good thing is here, Anthony, is that Fulbrook, De Luca and Dobrevsky have made a clean getaway on lap 1.
They have, and there's your culprit who just had the collision there at the famous corkscrew. As you can see, one of the Aston Martins pulling into the pit lane.
Yeah, Dave Hedges has now pulled into the pits. As now Regan Mitchell, the only person in the field that has decided to go with the Maserati Gran Turismo MC GT4. Very, very brave choice, and that car is the only one out of the field that has no ABS, no traction control, but still he's now up into 8th position behind Reece Wiggin in the 667, As now Gianluca De Luca's got the lead from Tim Fulbrook. That's a great move by the Audi as they now head through the first part of the circuit. As they're going to go up towards the steep inclines. And here at Laguna Seca, Anthony, especially with the change in rapid elevation, the engine starts to struggle as they get towards the top of the crest of the corkscrew.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. Of course, this is the GT4 class as well, so a little bit less on the power side of things. Here's a replay of what happened earlier on at turn 1, I believe.
Oh, Angus Martin goes towards the inside of Aaron Martin Pilkington, who ends up losing the back end and he gets spun around by one of the Mercedeses and then into pit lane. Dave Hedges now looks to come out of the pit, so I think Aaron Martin Pilkington has had dramas in the GT4 season, and on the penultimate round of the season, you don't really want that happening. But at the moment, the Audi R8 LMS GT4 of Gianluca De Luca leading the way by just over 3.5 tenths of a second ahead of the 862. Tim Fulbrook, who's trying to catch at the moment. Nicola Dabrowski, Cody Pride, Joao Diaz now up into 5th place. And here is the battle for 6th position, as that looks like Joao Diaz has gone into the pits. So Reese Wiggin, as a result of that, goes up into 6th place. The Freakin' Mitchell comes wide out of the final corner, turn 11, and the Maserati loses a bit of a couple of positions in the process, as that looks to be Michael Haffenen up past him, as well as Richard Emery.
Yeah, that was not the best way to get round the final corner. I know it's a tight corner here at Laguna Seca, that final corner, but that is definitely a suboptimal way of getting around there. 41 minutes left on the clock, and it's got some comments coming in as well on the YouTube feed. Daniel Park says, "Oh, corkscrew's going to be fun," and Daniel, I very much agree with you there.
But yellow flags out again, and looks to be. Oh no! Now is that Michael Haffenden? Was that Michael Haffenden that's actually just dropped down the order? No, that's Tim Fulbrook. Tim Fulbrook, the second. There's damage on the right front of that Ginetta, and just ahead, I think that's Gavin Utley with that Aston Martin Vantage GT4 looking very, very second hand at the front clamshell bonnet.
Yeah, again, not a great way to get round that corner either. I mean, I'm not sure what happened. Hopefully we've got a replay that we could potentially see. If we don't, obviously, I apologise for even mentioning it, because I know we don't want to see one. But yeah, it looked like potentially a move down the inside, went bad, tried to go on that throttle a bit too early, and as we know, rear-wheel drive Ginettas, a wet track, and trying to dive it down the inside aren't a great mix. Yeah,
so on the you're looking at the Simply Race channel. I'm looking at the Simsport Racing YouTube channel, and Ames Walker, Aaron's wife, is saying, "Go on, let's do this again, Aaron." Like he's had a lot of work so far, but we better stop. Go 30 for Mark Bradenbury. Chris Crossman said he was gutted that he wasn't able to make it. Obviously, he's had some pedal troubles, especially in the GT3 race at Monza this past weekend, which was 90 minutes in duration, and one of his pedals decided to fail halfway through going down the main straightaway. As Tim Fulbrook trying to go around the outside there. That's brave on Gavin Utley. Adam Misailovic now in 13th position. Proudly now up into the top 10 and trying to chase down Aaron Walker. Now Aaron Walker's got a real fight on his hands here.
Yep, that is definitely the way forward in this one. 39 minutes left on the clock, and yep, De Luca still leading the way. 3.9 seconds he's got for a lead now, so he's clawing away a little bit of a gap here. As you see, the recovering 862 of Fulbrook trying to get past Utley there.
As Steve Haley going side by side up the hill with Adam Misailovic, and Haley gets the position done. That is for 13th. As they're squabbling all over each other at the moment, a little bit further up from Gavin Utley, and looks like, now there is one of the Porsches that's gone off. Who was that? Oh, they're all sliding off. Sam Spankling, Adam Misailovic off nearly into the barriers off of the corkscrew. This is playing absolute havoc. It looks like the rain's even intensifying as Fulbrook goes off again.
Has someone dumped a barrel of oil down at that corner or something? Because that was just utter carnage. They just went straight on at the corkscrew there. Didn't look like anyone even attempted to slow down.
I think it's mainly because of the fact that with the GT4s, it takes a few laps for the tyres to come up to temperature. And with the colder atmospheric conditions, 38 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, we're only on lap number 5 out of this race, and we've had more drama than we've had through the first 3 weeks of the GT4 first season. But nevertheless, there are some drivers that are keeping it on the black stuff, and there are others that are just quite literally struggling. And one of them is one of the drivers that was on the podium last time, Sam Spenkelink, in the Sol Alpine A110 GT4, which always has the advantage on some of the cars in front through the twisty stuff. But then through the straights, the Alpine is a little bit down on power, where you've got the likes of Adam Isalovic, who's got the V8 Chevy Bruiser just up ahead in the 111, as more drivers now making their way up towards the hill. And it looks like Steve Proudly closing on the back bumper of Michael Haffenden, heading up the hill. So now head towards the corkscrew as Regan Mitchell. Now, someone did say, Chris Crossman said that the Maserati will be very hard in these conditions. Well, at the moment, Regan Mitchell's doing a good job. Jackie Proudly, Steve's missus, is cheering him on, saying, "Come on, Mr. P." That's a good thing to have, a little bit of family backup and motivational cheerleaders in the meantime. 37 minutes on the clock to go. But Gianluca De Luca at the moment is leading Cody Pride, of all people, by just over 3.6 seconds as we are now on what's going to be lap number 6.
I have to say, I am fond of that name, Gianluca De Luca. It kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit there. I'm a fan of it.
Well, you can't say fairer than that. I mean, it's sort of like the ones that really sort of is trying to go. Now that was 60. Oh, hang on. I'm just trying to keep an eye on who that was. That was, I think, maybe the 667. It's so quick. It's so quick sometimes when these incidents happen. Anthony Terros is asking how Mark Neutlings is doing at the moment, 666. Well, he's 2.888 seconds down in 17th position off of Reese Wiggin at the moment. So I think it was Reese Wiggin that was the one. Yeah, that was the one, because I did notice the 7 at the end of the number plate, the number on the side of the car. So, yeah, Mark Neutlings down in 17th position. So with just under 36 minutes to go, running order is thus: Gianluca De Luca, Cody Pride, Nikola Dobrevsky, Richard Emery, Kieran Vidago, Aaron Walker, Regan Mitchell, Michael Haffenden, now trying to go up the inside of Regan Mitchell. Got the move done, I think, before they've even gone into the first approach. Nicely done by the Ginetta. And Steve Proudly looking to get in on the action. Stephen Haley in the 24 Aston Martin, rounding out the top 10. Tim Fulbrook now up into 11th position and is 1.3 seconds off of Haley. Gavin Utley, who won the last race last time out, is ahead of Spenkelink, Isalovic, Martin, Wiggin, Neutlings, Hedges, Diaz and Bradbury. And the fastest lap at the moment is by Stephen Haley, a 1 minute 34.104. Thank you very much. I did see my face just show up on the camera there. Like, yeah.
I say, did we see a glimpse of you there, Alex?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Because I'm looking intently at things. The thing is that now that my MacBook becomes the secondary screen, I haven't got my... Oh, now run wide there. And that was from Aaron Walker. That's allowed Kieran Vidago to get through. And Michael Haffenden trying to steal a march on the number 99, who is leading the way in the standings at the moment. And that was very, very close. An uncharacteristic mistake there from Aaron Walker, but they are pushing relatively hard in these treacherous wet weather conditions.
Yeah, these are horrible conditions, and not normally the conditions you'd see in the sunshine state of California. It's usually quite the opposite. As we go on board here with Regan Mitchell down the inside here as we climb up this horrible hill there, and you can see one of the Mercedes off as well.
That's Dobrevsky. Dobrevsky was up into... was actually leading the way going into turn 1 for the first time as we started things around about just over 11 minutes ago. As Aaron Walker swarming all over the back bumper. Oh, he's trying to go around the outside corkscrew on Regan Mitchell, trying to switch back to the inside. Mitchell takes the tight line, but still keeps the Maserati tracking true. And no, he hasn't. Walker's got through. How did he manage that one?
Well, it looked like Walker gave him a little bit of a love tap, I'd have to say. It looked like as we go in, because I was paying very close attention to the mirrors of the car to see where that Porsche went. And you could see it dived left, it dived right, a little bit of a tap, and then, yeah, managed to get the switch back down the corkscrew.
So, nice work there by Aaron Walker, who was running up as high as 5th position, which is now actually being occupied by Michael Haffenden, who did a really good job in South Africa to finish in the top 5, as someone's just jumped into the pits, and that is the 667 of Reese Wiggin. And Stephen Proudly goes up the inside of Regan Mitchell. Excuse me. Regan Mitchell now, I think, has lost a position to Steve Proudly, who started all the way back in 21st. And I do have a little bit of an inside tip here. I think he has a very similar setup to someone that might be just in front of him. But starters, you need to go on, as they say. But now I think that Steve Haley is trying to go up the inside now of Tim Fulbrook. Up the hill once again we go. And looks like Haley's got the run on Fulbrook for 9th position. Aaron Walker, that front bumper of that car is looking a little bit second-hand, at least in some respects. Aaron Walker, Anthony, doesn't have to worry about a physical invoice being sent in his general direction.
No, I wouldn't say so. That's the beauty of sim racing is the lack of damage, or, well, let's say you do get the damage, but the lack of, an invoice after said damage.
As now he closes up on the 861 of Michael Hafferden as they now head down towards the left-hander at turn 11. Walker looking menacing now, and I think what Bradley's doing is just sort of waiting to see what happens. And that's very, very good strategic driving, especially when 3 cars are battling away as they now go down the hill towards the Andretti hairpin. You can just see how hard Aaron Walker is pushing, and he's trying to go towards the outside of the Andretti hairpin, get the cut back in on Michael Hafferden. Stephen Bradley taking a wider line through the Andretti hairpin. So they'll now go into turns 2 and into 3 and into 4, because effectively turn 1 is the left-hand kink that hangs on to the Andretti hairpin down at the bottom of the hill. As Aaron Walker, you can just see the Porsche, he's putting the power down there, Anthony. He's like the car's just trying to scrabble for traction, trying to spin the back end around.
Tricky driving conditions, obviously, as we're seeing. So drivers are trying to figure out what is the best way to get around this track in these cars. You know, do you try and give it a flick in, try and agitate the rear end of the car and then power through? As you can see here, Aaron Walker looking on the inside here, going into the corkscrew. Easy done. Oh, thank you very much.
That was nicely done and made it stick before it even hit the apex at the top of the hill. And now Steve Proudly is very much, now there's been an incident, and that is, I think, Gavin Utley and Tim Fulbrook coming down the hill. I think it was the Stoner versus Rossi incident that went wrong, but it involved GT4 cars, as we're fast approaching the completion of the first third of this race, 45 minutes in total, as Kieran Vidago now will have the likes of Aaron Walker, who's looking very menacing, trying to go towards the inside, going through into the right-hand kink through turn 1 just after the start-finish. Aaron Walker takes a tighter line and just steals it through into the Andretti hairpin, or does he? He goes wide. Kieran Vidago up the inside of the Mercedes. Steve Proudly trying to go up the inside of Michael Hafferden for 6th position. And again, oh, crikey. Kieran Vidago goes nigh on Tokyo Drift through into turn number 3 in the back end. That Mercedes is not looking very happy at all in the wet weather. Replay of Utley on Fulbrook. Oh, Utley sends it up the inside on the apex through the corkscrew, and that gives the marathon a bit of a headache, especially one 862 in the name of Tim Fulbrook.
I have to say, he utterly ruined that.
I think that was a Daniel Ricciardo move. Really.
Well, there was a pun there as well, and I don't know if you clocked it.
I've been commentating too much this week, so my working at the moment.
Swing and a miss on that one then. Never mind, I'll try again a bit later.
Maybe you get home before the end of the race, mate. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe if I respond. But Kieran Vidago now drops out of the top 5 down into 8th position. Freakin Mitchell in the white and pink Maserati. Vidago now has decided to pit. Obviously, these drivers will decide to use this opportunity if they have decided to go on there's no mandatory stop, so if they've quite fueled them, as Adam Isalovic wants to come out of the pits now. Michael Hafferden still now was lost out to Steve Proudly, but is being chased by Stephen Haley. 24 Aston Martin. It seems like the cars that really are working well in these wet weather conditions are the Audi. Well, is the Audis. Obviously, Angus Martin having a race pretty much to forget at the moment, but the Aston Martin in the hands of Stephen Haley has to be a lot more planted here, Anthony, in comparison to the Genesis G55 GT4.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, another car that's doing well, the Porsche. You know, there's 3 Porsches within the top 5 out on circuit at the moment, and they're the ones you need to keep an eye on. Aaron Walker is one especially. You know, he's been dicing through this field like anything, as we keep an eye here on Hafferden in 6th place, going through, running very wide there. We've got to watch out for that AstroTurf, especially in the wet conditions. It can be very slippery as we're going up the hill into the corkscrew. Early on the brakes, getting through nicely without incident. That's what we like to see.
Head of Michael Hafferden, who is now rounding out the top 7 positions. So I think in many respects here, yeah, you say 3 Porsches, so Cody Pride, Aaron Walker, Stephen Proudley, and I'm looking at the lap times at the moment. Walker and Proudley are pretty much level or nigh on thereabouts. A 1 minute 53.793 from Aaron Walker last time around, a 1 minute 35.925. Well, as I say that, Proudley's gone nearly a 10.5 quicker than Richard Emery, and Stephen Haley is absolutely flying. He's just on a 1:33.684, and he's closing on the 2 Porsches up ahead, going through the Andretti hairpin.
There's a nice little move there. 26 minutes left on the clock as we go bonnet cam to hear that amazing sound from this car. It's a beautiful sound as we go through from Stephen Haley here as we follow Proudly in front, and Jackie is proudly watching Proudly on the stream. There we go, there's another one.
Don't forget, tip your waiter, he's here all week. So now Stephen Haley trying to go side by side with Proudly going up the hill towards the corkscrew. And now Proudly, oh, now that is Richard Emery that has dropped down a little bit further down the order. So he's now dropped down to 6th place as Haley fires it up the inside of Proudly going into the corkscrew. Emery trying to get back into contention here. But Stephen Haley, that was a brilliant move on the approach into the corkscrew there.
Yeah, nicely done. And again, the corkscrew, not an easy corner to overtake on, as we see Proudly run slightly wide there. Under pressure now from the 24 of Haley, but managing to hold it on there. And that corner as well is a very tricky one. It's downhill. It is positive camber that you've got, but then it goes off camber on the exit, and it kind of taunts you to go in fast, but then the exit can just destroy you.
So fastest lap now goes to Dave Hedges in 15th position. Is now, oh my goodness me, Haley was trying to go for 2nd position there on Aaron Walker. As now Richard Emery has pitted, Cody Pride has now pitted, Regan Mitchell has now pitted as well. So quite a few drivers just before the halfway mark have decided to pit. So as I said, no mandatory pit stop, but some drivers will have a completely different strategy and some will be completely fueled to the brim, as we're on board with Stephen Haley trying to chase down Aaron Walker. And Stephen Haley on the last lap was nearly 1.2 seconds quicker in the Aston Martin. And Steve Proudly not too far behind this battle as up the hill they go. Haley looking towards the inside through the next corner, but can't get past up towards the corkscrew. Nearly, nearly got my Freudian slip there. Whoopsie. You can tell it's been a long week.
It's all right.
The corkscrew.
Everyone, yes, yeah. Everyone makes a little blunder here and there. But yeah, I mean, you were seeing there Haley trying to go down the inside of that left-hand kink there before the corkscrew. That's a bold corner to try and take a move on. It's in the dry. It's a dab of the brake and you just flick it in. It's definitely a single file corner, not one I'd expect an overtake on.
No, but Stephen Haley, gets a bit tail happy going into the brakes there, and that is allowing Steve Proudly to close back up in the Porsche. But I'm really impressed with Michael Hafferden and the Ginetta having this bit of an equaliser thrown its way, as he's now P5. Tim Fulbrook is his teammate in the 862 Ginetta G55 GT4, and he's in 6th position. Sem Spenkelink, Aaron Martin, Gavin Utley's now back in the pits. And Steve Proudly battling away with Michael Hafferden. As here is Angus Martin and Sem Spenkelink battling away over P7. They're 2.5 seconds off of Tim Fulbrook, who's about 6.7 seconds behind teammate Michael Hafferden. As now, I mean, still after 22 minutes here, Anthony, I have to doff my cap to every single driver on this field because they're just doing a fantastic job in the bad weather conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have definitely spun ages ago and probably retired in a huff and a puff going, oh, I'm terrible. But yeah, these guys, proof where the pudding is. You know, they're absolutely flying around this track at the moment. And yeah, like you say, take your hat off to them. Yeah, they're doing an incredible job.
So the lead now between Gianluca De Luca, the name that Anthony says rolls off the tongue. It definitely does. 16.5 seconds ahead of this four-way scrap for second position, being led by Aaron Walker. Stephen Haley in third place. Steve Proudly on your screens in the number 52 Porsche 718 Cayman. And then the G55 Ginetta of Michael Haffenden in the 861. We are now past half-time. Local time on the server, 12:30 p.m. And still the fastest time of the fastest lap thereof in this race still is in the hands of Dave Hedges, who is now up into 9th or 10th position. He's battling, well, he's trying to battle away with Mark Neutelings, but he's about 12.5 seconds adrift. So Mark Neutelings was down at the tail end of the field as, oh, now there is a car that has run very, very wide. So
I'm not sure who that was.
Yep, no, that's fair enough. I understand that I will now be taking it solo. Thank you very much, Anthony Jordan, for joining me for the first half of the race. And hopefully catch up with you soon, buddy.
Yes, I've got more esports to go and catch up on. So yes, apologies I couldn't stay for the whole race. But yeah, it was a very last second dive into it. But have fun. Enjoy the rest of the race.
No problem at all, buddy. Take care. Right, okay. So Steve Proudly being cheered on by Jackie at the moment, still running in P4, but he's dropping a little bit further behind Stephen Haley. 1.3 seconds between the pair, and that is for third position. So De Luca is... I'm just having a look at the lap times between Gianluca De Luca and Aaron Walker. With just under 21 minutes left to go, we have a bit of a development because Aaron Walker has gone he's gone over 1.1 seconds quicker than Gianluca De Luca on that last lap. Stephen Haley rounding out the top three. We're on board with the 99 Porsche of Aaron Walker going through into the Andretti hairpin, and as we quickly switch back, driving behind the 24 of the Aston Martin of Stephen Haley. So this is the battle that's separated by just under half a second for the runner-up spot at the moment. As a little bit of a hit on the sausage curbs. Oh, the back end of the Porsche, the 99 goes a little bit wide through turn number 3 as the tyres starting to struggle a little bit. You can just see how hard that Aaron Walker, as we have this on board from Stephen Haley. Great thanks to Mike Yao and Simply Race for providing these fantastic visuals here. As Haley now going up the hill, he's got the inside run on the 99. Through into the next corner, the Aston Martin could take it, but Walker keeps it planted towards the outside. The pair hit the green runoff area. Still two wheels on the black stuff. There's a little bit further behind. Tim Fulbrook has now got past Angus Martin, it looks like, for 7th position, as Haley and Proudly go down the hill after the corkscrew towards the final sector on the circuit. And at the moment, Gianluca De Luca looks to be responding a little bit in the direction of Aaron Walker. He's about 16 seconds behind, but this battle for second on the road is still waging on. And the thing is that while Stephen Haley is still battling away with Aaron Walker, it's not allowing them to catch up to the 135 Audi. And that is the biggest difference, because Haley wants to get past Walker and then start pushing. And he'll have time fast running out. He's not got it on his side, but this time he makes it up the inside through the Andretti hairpin, through turn 2, into the right at turn 3 they go. And that's brilliantly done by Haley. A little bit of a tail side coming out of turn 3, but still makes it past Walker. They go into turn 4. Again, both cars going a little bit sideways. Steve Proudly still keeping it tracking true in 4th position with Michael Haffenden. Not too far behind. But into the next corner, Stephen Haley gets the run on the inside through in the 24 Aston Martin, and up the hill they go. Haley gets the position now up into 2nd place past Aaron Walker. Great work there, but he nearly loses it on the very next corner, having come out of the Rahal straight. Up the hill they go. And heavy on the brakes, down a few gears, down into the depths of the corkscrew. And now I'm just looking between Haley, Walker, Proudly and Haffenden, and they are covered by just over 1.6 seconds as we're fast approaching 3 minutes, well, just under 3 minutes to go of this second third of the race. But now Aaron Walker looks to be struggling as Stephen Proudly trying to go up the inside through turn 11 and makes the move stick. Nice work there by Steve Proudly. That's 18 positions gained in just under, I think that's about 28 minutes. And now Michael Haffenden sees that because Aaron Walker is struggling, this is giving him the opportunity. As now Walker gets a bit close to the back bumper of Proudly. Oh, Walker gets compromised, Haffenden gets compromised, and Steve Proudly now starts to breaking away from these two behind, but it was very, very close there. Walker nearly went into the back of Proudly going into turn 2, and that could have really provided disaster for Proudly, Walker, and maybe even Haffenden. But luckily enough, all of the three of them stayed out of trouble. 16 minutes and 52 seconds left to go on the clock. Okay, let's have a look at the replay. So Haffenden tries to go on the inside of Walker. There's a little, now there was a little touch from Haffenden on Walker. That's why they were both compromised. So Proudly was able to stay away and weather the storm out front. So Reese Wiggin, I think, might be a potential retirement here. So Walker now trying to get on running terms as Dobrevski is off the circuit again. Unfortunately, the number 10 Mercedes AMG GT4 that started on the reverse grid pole position here at the penultimate round, as it's going to be side by side heading down towards the Andretti hairpin between Proudly and Walker. Walker to the inside of the 52 and gets the run on him. But it depends on what line Steve Proudly's going to do coming around the corner. He's going to go wide and get the run coming out through the corner. But this time around doesn't happen. Sam Spankelink and Tim Fulbrook and Angus Martin now battling away. And this is for 6th position. So Tim Fulbrook looking to get past the Alpine through into turn 2, get the run going around the outside through turn 3. If you make that stick turn, Fulbrook, well done, but not in this case, not in these wet weather conditions. But heading through to the next corner. Fulbrook looking very, very racy. Both Ginettas from Fulbrook and Haffenden running in 7th and 5th respectively. Doing a great job for their team as they now go up towards the Rahal Straights. Up the inside of Angus Martin stays Tim Fulbrook with Angus Martin not able to capitalise. Sam Spankelink might have something to worry as there's a Ginetta in the back mirrors heading up towards the approach into the corkscrew, which Aaron Walker has just navigated through, as is Steve Proudly and Michael Haffenden. And at the moment, between Michael Haffenden and Sam Spankelink, the gap now is just under 11 seconds as they now filter their way through the corkscrew. The rain has been absolutely heavy and hefty since we went green just over half an hour ago. As now Aaron Walker starting to break away from Steve Proudly. So Walker in 3rd place, Proudly in 4th, being chased down by Haffenden. And there are still plenty of twists and tails, I think, left in this over the next few moments as we go into the last 14 minutes. Reese Wiggin looks like he is a confirmed retirement, so the last driver still circulating is Nikola Dobrevski in the number 10, as Dave Hedges in the 88 Aston Martin has just gone faster than anybody, a 1 minute 33.201. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous in these wet weather conditions. Kieran Vidago is only 6/10 off of that with a 1 minute 33.819, and those are the only 2 drivers out of the field that have done a sub 1 minute 35. And that's out of all the 21 drivers that started. We're down to 18. As Tim Fulbrook still trying to keep Sam Spankelink in the Alpine very, very honest. You can just see how much scuffing there is on that front bumper of that Ginetta that will definitely need a Control Alt and Delete to reset that livery for the final round at Zolder in just a week's time. But some pretty good racing up and down the order. Walker, Proudly and Hafferden still separated by about 1.7 seconds approximately. But then this battle's even closer as Martin looks a bit better into the brakes, going in through to the left-hander at turn number 11. So we're on to lap number 21 here at Laguna Seca, and it has been pretty much clean sailing for Gianluca Di Luca in the 135. As now Martin goes a bit deeper into the brakes and runs the very, very wide part on the outside of the Andretti hairpin, whilst Tim Fulbrook and Sam Spenkelink still keeping themselves in good contention for some good points here in these difficult conditions. Now the gap between Steve Proudly and Michael Haffenden has expanded by over double to 1.3 seconds in the process of the last couple of laps. So I wonder whether Haffenden's had a bit of a moment. Michael Haffenden did a 1 minute 34.767 on the last lap, and Stephen Proudly did a 1 minute 34.407. So we go on board in cockpit with Tim Fulbrook as Sam Spenkelink goes very, very wide, and that allows the opportunity for the 862 to go up the inside, and also the 31 of Angus Martin in the Audi R8 LMS GT4. So a bit of a mistake there from Sam Spenkelink, and that was on the corner just before the corkscrew. But Proudly again now trying to catch on the back bumper of Walker for the final step on the rostrum. He's about half a second adrift. So we've had another, I think we've had Nikola Dobrevski unfortunately now parking into the pit lane. So 4 drivers out, 17 still circulating. 11 minutes still to go. There's now Angus Martin trying to close on the back bumper of Tim Fulbrook. About 0.4 of a second behind the Ginetta as they go through into the Andretti hairpin. Angus Martin takes a tighter line than Fulbrook, but Fulbrook still managing to get the power down nice and early without the rear tyres spalling up on the back end of that Ginetta. So on lap number 22 of this race here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, we quickly head back to the battle between 3rd and 4th position, as it is Aaron Walker versus Steve Proudly. And they're now heading down in towards the corkscrew. Nicely controlled by the pair of them. A little bit more curb on the inside of the exit, taken by Steve Proudly to help him carry out the momentum through the exit. As they now come through into the right at turn number 10. Let's see if we can stay on board with Steve Proudly for probably the best part of a lap, as we'll go into the left at turn number 11. Deep on the brakes, a little bit deeper than the driver in front, the number 99 of Aaron Walker, as Tim Fulbrook has been passed by Angus Martin through turn 10 as this battle rages on through into the left-hander at 11. Meanwhile, Proudly following Walker, now going through into the Andretti hairpin. And then up the gears into the right-hander at turn 3. 6th, 7th and 8th have now crossed the start-finish line, being led by Angus Martin. There's now Proudly down a couple of gears, puts on the power. And Vidago has just on quicker by over 1/10 and a half than Dave Hedges on lap number 23 of this race. A 1 minute 33.045. Dave Hedges, you're going to have to do better than that if you want some screen time, mate. You haven't really had much this evening, have you? 8 minutes and 50 still to go. And this battle for 6th position still raging on, as now Tim Fulbrook leads it, followed by Sam Spenkelink, who goes around the outside of Angus Martin as they go up the hill on the first approach up towards the corkscrew, so up the Rahal Straight into the next left-hander. And now the big run up towards the corkscrew. Less than 8.5 minutes left to go. Spenkelink diving towards the defensive inside line on Martin, who tries to keep the Audi to the outside, looks to get the cut back through the second half of the corner. And it's not easy to get through. But if you get the run through the next corner, which Angus Martin has got through on Sem Spenkelink, the pair go side by side. But then Spenkelink powers out of the corner better in the Alpine. So through into turn 10. Into 7th position goes the number 74 Alpine AE110 GT4 of Sem Spenkelink on Angus Martin. Fast approaching the last 7.5 minutes. And the gap now between Stephen Haley and Gianluca De Luca is now 11.6 seconds. Steve Proudly still keeping the pressure on Aaron Walker. So it is the battle of the Porsches as they now go up the hill for the first part of the ascent through the Rahal Straight. And then into the next left-hander. So now they'll be on the Rahal Straight up towards the corkscrew as Proudy looking towards the inside. They go down the hill, 7 minutes to go. So Steve Proudly, I think, is just biding his time, waiting for that opportunity where it may present itself, or he's going to have to make the gap happen. I do like some of the liveries that we're seeing. Obviously, Fanatec emblazoned on the number 52 of Steve Proudly there on both the sides of the Porsche, the roof and the bonnet, and also the back end of that Porsche under the Pirelli logos. So the rain has not abated at all. It has not stopped whatsoever. And I'm sure that the drivers will be sweating buckets after this and thinking, hang on a minute, this has been a really, really difficult time. And it's been the most strenuous test for any driver, especially if it is through sim racing, because your senses are being battered from every single side of them. All 5 of them are being sort of assaulted at every single way possible. As now Kieran Vidago is in front of Joao Diaz. Looks like Richard Emery's got back up to do 13th position ahead of Regan Mitchell. And Chris Crossman, I think, might have been a little bit right there with the Maserati struggling in these conditions. But the Alpine, again, on the course for maybe having a top 10 finish for the second time in a row. But it was a podium last time out when we were last racing. And that was at Kyalami. And we have Zolder in just 1 week's time. We go on board on the Alpine with Sem Spenkelink. Now going down through the corkscrew, through second gear, up to third, fourth, down to third again, through turn 9, now into turn 10, dropping from fourth to third gear, building the revs. Changing it around about 6,200 RPM on the tachometer. Now we're into the last 5 minutes, and Gianluca De Luca has really got to watch the back bumper now, because Steve Haley is really slashing that lead aside with a samurai sword at the moment, because he has been consistently quicker. He's just on a 1:34.188. Gianluca De Luca, a 1 minute 34.854. We're now on to lap number 26 of this race. And Steve Proudly still trying to get a podium. Mark Neuslings now rounds out the top 10 behind Dave Hedges. And again, I'm just seeing that Haley is just absolutely decimating this lead. It's gone down to under 5.65 seconds. Aaron Walker, in the meantime, is going quicker than Stephen Haley, but is bringing along with him Steve Proudly, who's running in the 1:33.9s, as has... now, I'm just keeping an eye. It looks like, well, there was a slight blip on the timing screen on the left-hand side of my general position here in the virtual commentary box. But Proudly still trying to keep the pressure on with Aaron Walker. Michael Haffenden and Tim Philbrook make it 2 Ginettas in the top 6. But things are fast running out in terms of the time counting down. Proudly still trying to go tooth and nail with Aaron Walker. And Proudly has been trying as best he can. But at the moment, Aaron Walker seems to unfortunately have his number. And you can see Stephen Haley, he's had a bit of a moment. He's dropped about 2.5 seconds to Gianluca De Luca and is 4.5 seconds ahead of this battle as they now head up towards the hill and start making their way up towards the Rahal Straight, which will be after the next left-hander. 2.5 minutes to go. Gianluca De Luca leads. Still, and now by 6.94 seconds. I think Stephen Haley will have to settle for second best this time around. Aaron Walker is still having to wait and see if Steve Proudly try and challenge him for the final step on the rostrum. Doesn't look to be the case, but I'm sure that Steve Proudly will keep on fighting with every fibre in his being until the checkered flag. Michael Haffenen and Tim Philbrook ran out the top 6, ahead of the Sol Alpine of Sem Spenkelink. Angus Martin in 8th. Dave Hedges and Mark Neuterlings ran out the top 10, ahead of Kieran Vidago, João Diaz, Richard Emery, Regan Mitchell, Gavin Utley, Adam Misalovic and Mark Raddenbury, who complete the 17. They are still racing here at the moment. And I think now Steve Proudly will be pretty happy, having started from 21st, and now in 4th position with around 90 seconds on the clock to go. And I know for a fact that the next time that Gianluca De Luca crosses the line, we will be on the final lap. As Proudly still trying to do his best, still trying to muster things up. Here is Gianluca De Luca, now going up onto the left-hander towards the Rahal Straight. So when the first-placed Audi in the 135, very different livery from the chrome green, white and red of the Italian Tricolore, as he absolutely track cuts like a good one through that second half of the corkscrew. That was definitely exceeding track limits there. But he has done a really good job so far to keep things on the straight and narrow. This time around, this will be the penultimate lap for Gianluca De Luca. Stephen Haley trying to close in the 24 Aston Martin. Now that is, I think, too much of an assailable lead to get rid of. Leader on the final lap. It has been confirmed by the race control on Assetto Corsa Competizione. And now Stephen Haley closes up by about 1.6 seconds. He did a 1 minute 33.396 on that last lap. Dave Hedges is still trying to close in on Kieran Vidago's fastest lap of the race, as now the final lap beckons for the pair now going through your screens at the minute. Tim Fulbrook and Sem Spenkelink, followed by Angus Martin. And what's that do I spot coming over the crest? Is it the Hedges? Yes, it is. The briefest amount of screen time for Dave Hedges, and I saw a green blur. There we go, there we go. And Dave Hedges gets a little bit of screen time. And, oh, well, on cue, our broadcast director duly obliges with the number 88 of Dave Hedges in the Aston Martin. It's definitely been in the sharp end of the field. Time has now expired. So Gavin Utley in 15th. It goes very, very wide onto the Rahal Straight. That doesn't look like Aston Martin has had a happy time here at the moment. Regan Mitchell in 14th. Richard Emery in 13th. There's Sem Spenkelink in 7th. In that turquoise blue with gold accented livery of that Alpine, looking a bit scuffed up and a bit second-hand, but it could be very, very close between these two, as Gianluca De Luca wins round 4 here in Laguna Seca by just over 2 seconds from Stephen Haley. Aaron Walker takes P3 ahead of Stephen Proudly. I'm sure that's done Jackie proud there. Michael Haffenen takes 5th, as it's a battle royale for the final position in the top 6. But it looks like Tim Fulbrook is going to hang on. He powers out of the final corner and takes 6th place ahead of Sem Spenkelink by 0.364 of a second. We'll make that 3.5 tenths. Angus Martin in 8th, Dave Hedges in 9th, Gavin Utley crosses the line in 15th position. Mark Neutelings will very shortly cross the line in 10th place ahead of Kieran Vidago. So there is the 666 of the Skylux liveried 666 of Mark Neutelings. There's Mark Radenbury, who will cross the line very shortly in 17th behind Adam Isarovic in the Reiter Engineering Chevrolet Camaro GT4 V8. And here he comes very, very shortly. So Radenbury in the latter stages. But what a win. Another winner this time around. Last time it was Gavin Utley at Kyle Army. This time it's Gianluca De Luca here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. And I'm sure that when the virtual drivers get out of the cockpits, they will be getting the brollies out very, very quickly indeed. Well, a big thank you firstly to Anthony Jordan for joining me in the commentary box for the first half of this race. And now we will try and see if we can get... I'm just going to head into Discord and let's see if I can speak with some drivers. Right, let's see who we've got in here. Oh, a couple of drivers. Firstly, let's head to Steve Proudley, 21st to 4th. Well done, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Yeah, what a race. Bit moist at the start, but yeah, it was all good. Kept out of trouble and just followed the guys around. And I think I actually only made maybe one overtake. The rest was just opportunistic when guys made mistakes. But yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah, and you definitely gave Aaron a lot to think of during that race, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, my main concern, to be fair, when Steve and Aaron came past me, I didn't want to sort of interfere with the championship battle between them. So, although I was putting Aaron under pressure, I didn't really want to make any silly moves. I mean, if he'd have made a mistake, if I'd have got past him cleanly, I would have taken it. But, you know, I wasn't there to try and force mistakes out of him because, like I say, I'm not part of this championship battle. It was the first race I've done with the guys, so I don't think it'd have been fair for me to interfere too much with it.
That's fair enough. And hopefully I'll have you alongside me in the commentary box next week at the season.
Absolutely, mate. I think commentating is a lot easier.
At least you're not sweating buckets like you are now, man.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, you get to enjoy it more. And I think if I'd have been commentating when I saw the rain on the grid, I would have been smiling instead of thinking, "Oh hell, what do I do now?"
Yeah, very, very true. Well done, Steve. Congratulations, and look forward to having you back alongside me in the virtual commentary box at Zolder at a week's time.
Thanks very much, Alex.
No probs. Steve Haley. Well, you definitely put the cat amongst the pigeons tonight, mate. That was a great drive.
It didn't start off so great, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The wet weather, I'm glad we've had it, because it certainly does kind of, like you said, put the cat among the pigeons. The idea was really to go around the outside of the first corner, but I think I touched a little bit too much curb on and may have touched the grass, which spun me around, but I weren't the only one. It looked like the guy inside me was doing the identical move to what I did. Yeah.
So obviously we've got Zolder in a week's time. That's going to be an interesting one because obviously, again, first grid, and that pretty much puts you at the back, mate.
Oh, joy. Yeah, Zolder will be a good race, I think. I really do like Zolder. I really like Laguna. I just wish I hadn't made a few of them mistakes into the first corner. So I really took a lot of time out of Gianluca within the last 4 or 5 laps, something like that. So it would have been nice to have actually caught him and taken the battle to him. But we'll take it on to Zolder and see what we can do from there. Hopefully we'll get a bit more rain.
Well, it does have its own microclimate, Belgium, I must admit. from previous experience. So I'm hoping for something, a bit of a spanner in the works, so to speak.
Well, you're the man in the know there, so let's hope so.
Fingers crossed. Well done, Steve. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Lastly, it looks like my final interview of the evening is Aaron Walker, who still continues to lead the way in the GT4 inaugural season. Aaron, not exactly the easiest race. You had quite a few battles through the field. You had Steve Proudie chasing you down. You had the likes of Michael Haffenden, Cody Pride as well, amongst others. It was quite a different race from what we've had so far, isn't it?
Alex, yeah, very different race. I think the word for it is unprepared. Not sure anybody prepared for rain here. So it was a really good stab in the dark at the tyre pressures. I think most of us took dry tyres, which is the way to go if it's only light rain, but it's just difficult judging the pressures. Obviously made a few mistakes, capitalised on a few other people's mistakes. As Steve said, he was putting me under a lot of pressure. I think I made a big mistake at the corkscrew and blocked him, so I let him by and kindly let me back by. So I don't know what happened there. We'll have a chat afterwards.
I'm sure it was a bit of sportsmanship there. I mean, obviously Steve was honest, saying, well, I'm not actually in the fight for the championship, but he still gave as good as he got.
Yeah, there's life in the old dog. He's pretty good. But yeah,
you can teach old dogs new tricks, especially definitely coming back into GT4 and giving it a go.
Alex, keep him in the commentary booth.
Well, he's looking forward to being back for the season. That's what it is.
You're breaking up a bit, but I'm assuming you're talking about Zolder. Obviously, Zolder's a very good round. My favourite track, so looking forward to that one.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Aaron, and good luck next week. And let's see if you sew up the title in style.
Thank you, Alex. Take care.
Right, well, that's it for the interviews this evening. And we're now going to talk a little bit more about what is to come at the place to race, which is Simsport Racing. Firstly, a big thank you to Mike Yao and Simply Race for fantastic broadcast coverage once again. For those wondering about our current schedules at the moment, we've just recently hit the halfway points in the GT3 Season 3, where we had Monza just this past Sunday. We have got our season finale for GT4, which will be Circuit Zolder. So let's have a look at what's happening in Season 3 GT3. So we've got Zolder, which is 2 30-minute sprint races. Then we have the iconic Spa-Francorchamps on the 13th of September, a 2-hour race. Then we have Laguna Seca on the 27th of September, a 60-minute encounter. Then 90 minutes at the Circuit de Catalunya Barcelona on the 11th of October. And the 25th of October sees Paul Ricard Le Castellet hosting the 2-hour season finale. So who will be our crown champion for ACC Season 3 GT3? And then we have Circuit Zolder next Wednesday for the GT4 season finale for Season 1. Among with that, don't forget, we have the upcoming 12-hour Nürburgring Endurance Charity Race supporting Mind for better mental health. And Mind has been long-standing for over 60 years, dedicating to providing support to people who suffer with mental health problems and won't give up until everyone needs help, gets both the support and respect they deserve. It is a charity that is very, very much in my heart because of the fact that I have also suffered, I haven't made it very public, but mental health and anxiety have plagued me over the past few years. And through friends and through charities such as Mind, people can be got back on the right track. And this is what we want to do. We want to help Mind help others. It will be 12 hours, the 3rd of October 2020 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, just after the ADAC 24-hour Nürburgring Nordschleife event is completed. It will simulate, our race will simulate a full 24-hour period with day and night cycles. And there are 30 teams for GT3 available and 20 teams available for GT4. Head to simsport-racing.com for further information. So thank you very much for watching. Tune in next time as the GT4 season comes to its eventual conclusion at Circuit Zolder in Belgium. Good night for now.